Hi, my name is Matt Carroll with World Class Coaching, and today with the help of Academy Sports Coach 2024, I wanted to discuss with you a session that I worked on actually today with my high school level team, with the topic generally being switching the field, switching the point of attack. So what we've been doing with our high school program is we've been really focused on two things where we'll take a topic, which will be our main topic, and we have two coaches at the varsity level. So we then have the head coach, myself will run something, and my assistant coach will run a different part of the session. So today, my assistant coach focused on the main topic, and I worked with the defense. He worked on changing the point of attack and attacking, and you'll see that in our next drill, how we kind of work that out. So what we did is we actually began the session with, usually we start a little more technical. We jumped right into our topic coming off a break. We wanted the kids, to be active, running around, get right into playing the game. So we had this drill set up for them. And basically what we have here is we've gone through a couple of different iterations. We tried different things out. We hadn't done this one before, which is another thing when I'm in my sessions is I have trouble with like how much do I want to introduce new stuff and keep it fresh. But this session took a while to get going. I think we really only mastered it, started to get it towards the end of the actual time we had allotted for the drill. Whereas I think in the drills we do a lot, it's jumping right into it and then going into topics. But again, that can be stale and players lose interest sometimes in what you're doing. It's like, all right, we've done this a million times, like we get it. So try to keep those fresh as possible, but change is always good for players. So we tried something new today, and we started off this way, and we were kind of experimenting throughout. But we started with the team in black is going to pass the ball to each other 5 times. Just anywhere, just kind of, defense is moving around, just kind of shadow defense. On the 6th pass, though, they worked on misplacing it. And at first, they didn't understand this. Like, why were we turning it over? And I explained, well, okay, this is the team in black is attacking, and they're building out. They're starting to move forward. They have a turnover. And if we go forward, we're going to go into the teeth of their defense. They were bunched. They were narrow here. We can't go forward, so we swing. So the yellow player then swings to player outside here. The pivot then swings to the outside player. Hopefully he's playing a low deep ball into this area. This player then leaves the grid, and we go 4v4. So every player in yellow, every player in black then enters the grid, and the player in red tries to play a pass into the box that hopefully we can get a shot on goal from, or we get a clear from. So again, if we worked on this separately, so we both focused on this part of the session. We focused on the attacking part. Getting the runs right. We talk about having 3 different runs. We want a player on the near post. We want a player top of the PK. We want a player we call closing the door on the back post for that ball over the top. Anything else we add, but we want to at least know. So when this player takes their touch, okay, there's generally going to be a defender that slides over and covers them. So this isn't going to be as clean cut as we want it to look. This player is going to have to, we want them to pick their head up. We want them to look for the pass. We want them to be having, options and decisions they can make. But if this player's here, it makes it difficult. Their head's down, and they're looking to just get the ball off. They don't want to lose possession. They don't want to make a silly mistake and get countered here. So it helps if we have that verbiage of, near post, PK, closed door. So when this player screams, and so everyone goes, we have another player in here, the yellow player comes here, yellow player comes here. They really are just kind of following the ball, and they forget that the back door is wide open. This player can scream, back door, back door, back door, and they're going to play. This player knows to pick across off of the deck, put it to the back post, and allow this player to finish. Without that verbiage, it's a lot of them guessing or like, you got me here, or it's a mouthful. They don't really know what to say. This kind of shortens things up. So then from there, what we did was I made these players neutral. Originally, they had playing for teams, and it was just kind of extra players. So then this player, let me delete these lines. We just shift so we're getting the look from a different way. So then we went 3 yellows over here, 2 players in black over here, bring the ball over, 2 here. And I did the player that crossed the ball shifted to the pivot, and the player that was the pivot switches over here, and we do the exact same thing on the other side. So where we progressed from there was we played a true game of keep away. We extended the box a little bit to give a little more room. And we played keep away. So it was on command. I didn't have my whistle today, so I went go. So on go, if they heard that the verbal cue, they knew that the ball was in play. The other team could defend it, but if they had space, I generally tried to call it and alternate it. So one team had the ball, and one team didn't have the ball. So one team was defending, one team was attacking. But we really wanted to, they were in a space. So it was a space where we have this clearance. We're under pressure. We're numbers even, all right, but there's not a lot of numbers, and there's an easy chance for us to get the ball. So because of that, we relieve the pressure with a switch. Found the wide play, and then went down into what we call a kill zone here. This area is where we find killer passes. We got green, got down low, and played a low driven ball or a cross, or took a shot or whatever it may be into the box here with the 3 runners in the backside. So again, growing it kind of more organic. Then we even involved this player coming in late as a late post run, and try to get them involved as well. So that was the beginning of our session. We walked through a lot of it. We're coming off 2 days. It was Labor Day weekend. Coming off of 2 days, we gave them the Saturday off. I thought this really went well. We did a lot of stretching. We did some discussion. We did some, we have team talks and things like that where we allowed players to kind of voice their communication, things that they saw. Our previous game we had on Friday. Things that need to be fixed, things that they're seeing from their perspective. And again, it's kind of away from the coaches, gives them that allowance to have those conversations without, sometimes, we are very much we allow players to have communication. We give them autonomy, and we allow them agency in, selections and things like that in terms of formation, what they're seeing or making changes. If they're seeing something on the game, we're willing to recognize it. But even that, with all of that, I think sometimes it's hard face-to-face to have those conversations. In essence, we are the boss in the situation. So sometimes it's good to have just those player-to-player conversations. And then we have the captains come back and kind of settle down to really what's important, and then they'll relay that information. So we started off kind of that talking, and I think this drill did a great job of just kind of jumping us into the game and getting us back into a playing standard. So where we went from there, we had a couple options we were picking. We kept like a bunch of options on the plate. As audibles for kind of how they're feeling. What were we seeing? Do we need more intensity? Less intensity? Was it too intense? Were they too tired? Were they, sluggish? What were we going to do? So one game we're going to do is a game called 10 ball, where there's an attacking team that fills up the entire space beyond from this pole to the goal. Then there's the same number of players behind it. There's 10 balls here, and the 10 ball team has 10 chances to try to score. We're going to do that. We were going to do another game where we do something called Cinco with a transition game, but we ended up playing what I call the Italian game. So there was a 4-4-2 article years ago about Arrigo Sacchi and this defensive drill that he played. And we were flipping back between a 4-back and a 3-back, and we really haven't found what formation we're using for the season. We kind of adjust based on personnel and the opposition, what kind of the film gives us. Because I think we're tactically flexible enough to do so. And we talk about how the systems of play really aren't too far different, whereas we're going to play with a 3-back in the system with 2 6s. All we're doing is pushing a center back forward, essentially playing with another, a stopper who can drop back into the back line. And we've painted that way, and I think the players have been able to adjust and understand that. So what we did was we set up. Well, I should make these actually probably yellow here. We set up our 3-back. We gave them 2 6s and a goalie. And then we had the rest of the team. On practice day, we could bring up 100 players. We probably have like 24 guys total. So we had a bunch of guys up here. And what you do is all these players here, and we set up a bunch of balls at half. Okay, everyone starts at half. They go. The team in black is trying to score. The team in yellow doesn't need to win the ball per se. They don't have to get a clearance or win possession. Like basically, if they get possession on their foot, they get a good tackle on it. Like they get the ball, a save, or whatever. Ball stops. Every player in black has to go back to half, and it starts over again. So this is where we kind of split as coaches. Where I was working specifically on the defense and working our so if ball goes here, working our center backs back, our 6s into the back line. So ball goes out wide. This player slid. This player jumped into the back line, and the 6 became more central. We moved like that, and we worked on that pivot and switch. The ball came over here, pivoted back out, and all that stuff. So I focused on that aspect of it and how to defend the attack. So again, it wasn't just kind of like, hey, go out there and do what you need to do. And I think normally we use this as more of a defensive drill to teach, how organized defense can, against an organized defense, when we're in our shape, it's very difficult to break down a team. It doesn't matter if you have 18 players on the other side. Attacking-wise, what we focused on here was the same thing we worked on, with getting the ball wide, stretching this line, because if we tried to go up the gut, we made it just within the 18. These guys were very organized, and it was difficult to get by them. Where our best attacks came from was when we got the ball wide, all the way wide, and then moved the ball where this person got split out. The 6 didn't know if he goes or he stays. Center back's pushed back because he had to stay in line with his player. All right, and our line, it's kind of like funky like this. And this was a couple times they were able to get a ball in between our center backs and get a finish off a header. We actually let up 2 headers from this, which is something we normally don't do, but we just got pulled out by that width. We made some adjustments and kind of cleared that up, and there wasn't any more headed goals. But it showed gaps in our defense, and it showed our offense ways that they can work. So we got to work on both sides of the ball simultaneously. And I think the session kind of, with only really 2 major drills before our scrimmage, we got a lot of information on the plate, and we started really moving the ball well when we actually went to our scrimmage, which was our next drill, where we saw the fruits of that, where we played in our normal formation. We had our scout team play in the formation of our next opponent and see how that looked. And I think there was some miscues and there were some adjustments, and we worked those conversations. But ultimately, the point of the session was to move the ball, and we had several pivots to our 6, and again, our goal came from that same situation. So always nice when you have the scrimmage and you see the aspects of the session come out in the final play. So just one last thing, I'd love to hear in the comment section some of the things you guys do. Players coming with our high school schedule in New Jersey, it's a kind of wonky where, and most players, we don't have access to the building on Sunday, so we don't practice on Sunday. Players work on Sunday, so we have a lot of games where we're coming off on a Monday, or coming to practice on Monday, and just kind of what do you do to get the players ready to go and activated off that off day? Because we high school, we're waking up early after sleeping in on Sunday. A lot of players come in pretty groggy. We don't get the energy we always want, and we've been trying to kind of find new ways to get creative with that and get them going. So I'd love to hear that in the comments section. So one more time, my name is Matt Carroll with World Class Coaching. I'm the Academy Sports Coach 2024. I hope this session finds you well.